Okay, well, welcome to the fourth official meeting of Network Mind, the chapter that not only does public speaking, but also business networking, leading, and social media. Now, as you know, um, any place where you're going to speak, you're actually doing business networking as well. The business networking and public speaking are one. They are so much joined together. They are definitely one. So tonight we're focusing on public speaking, and besides a few other little changes like impromptu speeches and that, which comes into the speaking side, the basic difference between a public speaking meeting and a business networking meeting is that in business networking, we have two 12 to 15 minute business presentations. And in a public speaking meeting, we have between 3 to 5 public speaking speeches of 5 to 7 minutes each. And of course, these speeches can also be about your business. And in both cases, we have the elevator speeches where you stand up and you introduce the type of business that you do. And so it's, both sides you really do win. Okay, let's see if anybody has joined us so far. Okay, so far no one's joining us. It's just gone 9:30 now. Okay. Right. Oh, we had 21 people confirmed for tonight. And so now just to see if they're actually going to make it. Okay. Well, it looks like some of them may be a little bit on the late side. Some of them weren't 100% sure whether they would actually be able to make it or not. They were still undecided. So we should get a few people anyway. Let's just see what happens. Okay, I'm just looking through my list of people there. Okay. Now, one of the beautiful things with something like Network Mind is, the business networking and the public speaking is you get the opportunity um, to showcase the things that you are working on, the businesses that you are promoting. And so one of the businesses that I am promoting is the AltMed supplements. Um, we sell alternative medicine supplements, and it's like very affordable and all that. It's a really great place to belong. And I'll just show you how one of our flyers looks. Okay, so there you have the AltMed supplements flyer, and you see the little QR codes. You can just scan the QR code. You connect to the Zoom meeting, and you connect to join the WhatsApp meeting. You can just scan the QR code and you join the WhatsApp meeting. So that's the type of thing we can do. And big welcome to Jean-Francois. Sure. Yeah, so I actually had 21 people confirmed for tonight. And you know what happens, life happens. So if at least half of those join, it will be great. Your microphone is muted.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
That's great.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Yeah, no, thank you. Yes, and yourself?
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. Um, Not easy being a freelance ethnobotanist, but I'm excited to talk about my book tonight. This book here, The
Okay.
African Psychoactive Plants.
Ah, awesome. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, which is the first of its kind for the continent, actually.
Yes. Wow.
So yeah, it's quite an achievement.
So you've just got to
Mm.
get it promoted in the right way, and it can go.
Yes. Yeah, I've been selling the book since it was published in 2023.
Okay.
Uh, so it's getting its way around the world, and so yeah, promising.
Okay. No, that sounds absolutely awesome. Yeah. Okay. So I see we're up to 1934. So we want to sort of stay on track. Okay. So the other 20 people will hopefully join pretty soon. Okay. So I think, oh, is there, oh, I thought somebody was trying to join, but not yet. So I think we can just carry on. Okay, we use Robert's rules of order. So that's why I've got the gavel here. And we
Okay.
see that everything is in order. And so without further ado, I declare this meeting open. Okay. And then we get to our second order of business is, okay, a warm welcome and a roll call. Okay, so um, well, we can just say like welcome to all the people here tonight, Jean-Francois. Okay, hopefully the other people will join before your speech comes up. But
Okay.
let's just see what happens. Okay, so we got scheduled for tonight two great speeches. It's one of them is yourself, um, South African medicinal and psychoactive plants, and then Medical Chawane is speaking on the power of effective communication. Okay, so if he does arrive, then we will certainly be able to enjoy that speech as well. And then the roll call. Okay, I think that's pretty easy at this point in time. And the word of the day, I think we can make the word of the day clock. So if you can see how many times you can use the word clock, just as you speak, try and bring in the word clock. You can do that in various ways. You clocked a certain speed, or I looked at the clock. Okay, it's a very flexible word. Okay, so the meeting rolls tonight. Okay, so I'm basically going to just fill in where we go because we don't have many people here tonight. Okay, and the leadership roles at this point in time, I'm the only full-time member, so I'm the MC, the master of ceremonies. And if you look on the program that I sent you, you'll see the other roles at the bottom that you can have. There's 11 altogether. That's leadership
Mm.
roles. And then there's a bunch of meeting roles. Okay. So they're sort of mixed together.
Okay.
Agenda changes. Well, if there is um, hopefully we get closer to 20 people tonight. So there's two of us. So all we have to do is put a zero at the back and we're at 20. Okay.
Mhm.
And then we get to the toast. Okay, so we don't have a toast smith tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the toast. Okay, if that's all right with you.
Mm.
Okay.
Sure.
So have you got something to drink? I've got
Oh, I do.
okay. I've got
Okay.
some Coca-Cola. Yeah. I see you
Okay.
also have Coca-Cola. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I'd like to propose a toast tonight to Network Mine. So originally the idea sounded a little bit ambitious. I was thinking to myself, where do I get the people and where do I get all the training materials and all that type of stuff? But I thought to myself, you know what, let me just start chipping away at it slowly. So that's what I did. So Network Mind, it's not just a speaking club, and it's not just a business networking club. It's both of those, and it also encompasses leadership and social media as well, because these are all the skills that we need to um, succeed in the world today.
Mm.
And in fact, in each of those four categories, there's about 44 speeches or assignments in speaking. It's the same in business networking, leadership, and social media is closer to 50 assignments. And each assignment ends with a speech. So you do your assignment and you give your speech, you get credit, and the credits go towards your associate, licentiate, or fellowship. And so essentially, we have 1 week business networking, the next week public speaking. Uh, Tonight is public speaking. But to tell you the truth, both of them, we actually do business networking, whether it's speaking or business networking, because the elevator speeches that they always are about what business you do. You introduce yourself in the business, how you can help anybody else. And so it's really all about business networking. It's just to accept that it's business networking. It's not only speaking, and then we can start promoting ourselves. Okay. So, gentlemen, I'd like you to invite you to drink a toast with me to Network Mine. To Network Mine.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, okay.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, Gesundheit, yes. Okay. Okay, so we've got some people are busy joining. Okay, welcome to TMP. Okay, I'm not quite sure what your name is, but welcome TMP. And and that is the medical perspective. Yes. Okay. So I am recording this. So although we were supposed to be 21 people tonight, that's the people who confirmed that they would be here tonight. And we three. So yeah, we're not quite there, but hopefully they'll join as we go. Okay. So at least we've got two great speakers tonight, but both of them very dynamic. But I think what makes them such good speakers, both Jean-Francois and Miracle, is that they are absolutely passionate about what they speak about, and that's what makes it fascinating and stunning. And we can just learn from these two speakers. Okay, but before I get too carried away on that, let's go into our next role. Okay, agenda changes. Okay, so I'll just fill in all the gaps as we go. We've done the toast of own choice, and okay, I'm just going to kick off with a little joke in the meantime, because now it's now the turn of the jester. So a public speaker asked the audience, "How many of you are afraid of public speaking?" About half the audience raised their hands. The speaker replied, "Don't worry, I used to be too. In fact, there was a 50-50 chance that I would have cancelled today's talk." Okay. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. Okay. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the elevator speeches. So so basically it's 30 to 60 seconds, and the way it works, you say, for example, something like, and don't use this too literally, like, "Good evening. My name is Johannes, and I'm a plumber. So if you have a blocked drain or anything like that, I'm the guy you're going to come to. I'll unblock your drains and sort you out." So, and that's how you introduce your business. Okay. So it's 30 to 60 seconds. So I'll just show you how we're going to time this. Okay. So when we get to, okay, let me just, okay. So when we get to 30 seconds, I'll have a green background like that. And we get to 45 seconds, it goes sort of an amber. And when we get to 60 seconds, you're in trouble. You can see it goes red. Yeah. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll see if I can highlight you as well, while we go through that. Okay. And yeah, and I've got my little timing light here, so hopefully we have fun. Okay. So would you like to start off, Sean?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. You can go 30 to 60 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Do I start any time? Oh,
No, to start anytime. Yes.
okay. So I'm a medicinal plant researcher, author, and qualified nutritionist and herbalist. Author of African Psychoactive Plants: Journeys in Phytoalchemy, the first of its kind book for Africa, exploring the role of psychoactive plants in African traditional medicine.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you want to, you can just put your telephone number and contact details in the chat. So,
Hmm,
anyone who wants to pick that up can pick that up. Yeah.
sure.
Great. Okay. And that was just under 30 seconds. So
That's
nicely in
brilliant.
time. Okay. And Miracle, would you like to do your elevator speech?
Yes, France, how are you doing? And John, how are you?
Well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Good. Oh, can I start?
Yeah.
Thought you were
Whenever
gonna
you're
say
ready.
start.
Start.
All
Start.
all right. Thank you very much. Well, I grew up as a person who enjoyed speaking in front of people, so to speak. Growing up as a pastor's kid, I was always exposed to the stage, always on in front of the people, talking to them and educating in some way or another. The only problem is that I didn't have the correct techniques to influence people to do what I wanted them to do, influence them in a way that will persuade them to do what I want to do. Later in life, I began on a journey of writing books. I have authored a book by the name The Firefriend University. And it was a problem to actually get people to buy the book. Why? Because in my speaking, as much as I was able to speak, I was not able to persuade and convince people to do. And today, I'm standing here as a public speaking confidence coach who has discovered that the ultimate tool that will get people to do everything that you want them to do is the confidence behind your public speaking. And today, I help people become the best version of themselves and become the people that they are meant to be and great speakers. So that's who I am, Miracle, the public speaking coach. Thank you very much.
Great.
Oh, no, thanks a lot, Miracle. No, that was awesome. Yeah, just over 1 minute. So really nice speech. You can put your details in the chat if you like, and we'll read the details out a little bit later on. Okay. So let's just get to the next item on the agenda. Okay. Um, the education segment. Okay. So I was going to do an education segment on joining, but I think let me change that up a little bit. And oh, I see I'm in completely the wrong place. You'll have to bear with me. I'm just looking through my folders and that to try and get to the right place here. And yeah, I think I am getting to the right place. And so tonight I'm going to speak about speech structure. Um, we got, okay. So, all of us, the speech structure is always very important. And um, a lot of us go through our speaking careers without getting an absolutely awesome structure organized. So I'm just going to quickly go through a speech structure, and I think you guys have probably got it down, but we're going to make a recording of this. So just for the sake of the guys, you're going to see it in the recording. Let's just do that. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. Okay. So speech structure. So there's 4 elements to a speech structure, and if you get all of them right, you've got an awesome speech. Okay, so the first thing is the title, incredibly important. You've got an opening, a body, and a conclusion. If you can just get those 4 items in place, and then you're there. So in a nutshell, in your opening, you tell your audience what you're going to tell them, and then in the body, you tell your audience what you want to tell them, breaking it up into 1 or more components. Typically 3 seems to work quite well in a 5 to 7 minute speech. And in your conclusion, you tell your audience what you have just told them about. Okay. So that's in a nutshell, but it's a little bit more complex. Like your title, firstly, you will need to decide what you are going to speak about. After that, you will choose the title, and then you spend some time on choosing your title, because this is a key element of your speech. So don't neglect your title. Okay, so your opening, a greeting. Thank the MC, and I'm the MC tonight, for the introduction and the chapter members and the guests. Don't make it too long, just keep it short and sweet. Capture the audience attention. So this is your chance to grab the audience attention. Prepare something about yourself that will capture their attention and interest. Don't lose them after a few words. And introduce yourself. Give a brief introduction of yourself, and then the transition towards the body of the speech. A brief statement to transition into the body. In other words, you just tell your audience what you're going to talk about. And then you get to the body of your speech. And let's say it was 3 components. The first component, you will speak about that item, but everything you say, try and keep it within that component. Try not to digress or follow the rabbit holes on things that come to mind. Just try and keep it in that. And then you transition a sentence or two. The shorter, the better, your transition. Or just tell them what you're going to talk about next. And then you get to the second component. Okay, so this is the second component. Just make sure you don't digress. Just keep it all about that component. And then you transition to the third component. Just tell them, and now I'm just going to talk about. And you get to your third component. And again, keep it all in there. Don't lose track and talk about other things. Okay, you're not limited to 3 components, but 3 does seem to work quite nicely. And then you're going to transition into the closing. A sentence or 2 to transition from component 3 to your conclusion works well. This transition will alert your audience that the speech is coming to a close. And it can be as simple as you just tell them that you're about to close. For example, in closing, and you write in the closing part of the speech, in the conclusion. And in the conclusion, you briefly state the main points of your speech. This could involve simply a keyword, a short phrase or sentence from each of your 3 components. Now, what you have to be careful of is make sure that you do not bring any new material in during the conclusion. Just tell them what you have told them. If you want to tell them about other things, keep that for after the speech. And then you need to close with impact. Now, the conclusion may be all that some people remember about your speech. So spend some time preparing these last few words, preferably just a sentence or 2. Practice in front of the mirror, memorize it, and then you just hand control back to the master of ceremonies. You can even just say master of ceremonies, and you're done. You walk off the stage to a round of applause, and your speech is done. Okay. Any questions about that?
Was quite clear.
Okay.
Was quite clear.
Okay. No. Thank you, Miracle. Okay. So basically, you just get a nice structure, and it just sort of makes it all work so nicely. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then we get to the jester segment again. It's something that I brought into this a jester segment. Okay. Would any of you like to try a joke, or should I just go ahead and put a sort of a silly joke in there?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. So let me just pump a silly joke in there. Okay. So okay, let me just get a really short and sweet little thing, yeah? Okay. So as a public speaker, now you often get the tips. They say, like, you're looking at your audience, and you need to focus, look at them in the eyes and focus on them and that. And what a lot of people say is a good tip is to imagine that they're all in their underwear, and then it's easier to look at them and you can even smile and you look in them, in your mind's eye, you can imagine they're all in their underwear, and then you sort of seem to have an interest in the people. But of course, there is a warning to that, if you're speaking, for example, at a nudist colony, then it doesn't really help to imagine that they're in their underwear after that. Yeah.
That's very silly.
No, so it's a really silly speech there. Okay. So, and now we're going to get to the next item on the agenda is prepared speeches. And the first speech is by Medical Chawana. And, I have spoken with him before in Toastmasters clubs. And what I can say is that he's a very talented speaker and he has his own blog and, he does a lot of things and we can all learn from Miracle. And Miracle Chawana is going to speak to us tonight about the power of effective communication. The power of effective communication. And I'm going to evaluate Miracle. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So you'll have to forgive me for my evaluation. I'll try and be nice because I sometimes I get a bit critical, but the whole object of a evaluation is to build the person up and to encourage them. So we shouldn't really break them down. But Miracle is such a good speaker that I'm sure even if you listen carefully as well, Jean-Francois, you'll only have positive words to say. And so without further ado, help me to give a big round of applause to Miracle Chawana with the power of effective communication.
Thank you, Franz. Thank you for the opportunity, and good evening to all the people who are here. How many times do we actually speak? And how many times do we look back at what we've said and actually evaluate whether it landed or not? One time I was speaking to my younger sister, and I was telling her something I was truly passionate about. I went on and on and on about how great this thing was. And when I was done telling her this great thing that I'm so passionate about, it just dawned on me to say, ask her what she thinks about it. And I was like, so what do you think about this, little girl? And the first thing she said was, about what? And that's when it dawned upon me that I spoke. I didn't communicate. All I did was talk. And that's the thing that most of us fall into the trap of. We find ourselves in the trap of talking because at that point, the focus is on us. We fail to put the focus into the receiver, to the one who's listening to you, and to understand whether or not they understand what you are saying. And I was found in the same trap as well. Spoke passionately about what I feel passionate about. And I didn't care about reducing the level to my sister's understanding. I was only just speaking based on how I felt about the subject. And it showed, the feedback was immediate because I asked her, how did she think about the subject? And she was like, which subject? Which showed me that I actually didn't communicate. This is to say, communication is in two folds. It involves the sender and the receiver. When you speak, where is your focus at? If you want to be effective in your communication, your focus should be at the receiver, because what you say must be judged by the person who's listening. And the person who's listening is the one who's going to tell whether or not what you said was effective or not. Many times we try to speak and we try to get someone to do something that we want them to do. only to realize later that nothing happened. It happens perhaps at our workplaces. You speak to a colleague and you want them to do something. You come back later, they didn't do it. And what comes to your mind? Conflict. This person doesn't want to do what I asked them to do. But if you stop and pause and ask yourself, did I communicate in a way that the receiver understands? You'll find that most times than not, your communication was not effective because you didn't care much about the receiver. So I'm here tonight to implore upon you or to impress upon you to say, whenever you speak, speak so that the next person can understand. Don't speak in a way that only makes sense to you, because then you are just talking. Communicating involves you sending a message that the other person can receive and eventually take action upon if it requires action. But if you are going to speak and the other person doesn't understand what you said, what you have done is produce warm air out of your mouth, which didn't mean anything. There's a difference between speaking and talking and communicating. Speaking is what I'm doing. Talking is when you are just speaking, when you're just saying whatever you want to say. But communicating is when you are going to send a message which has a form of response that is required. How effective are you in doing that? Listening takes two phases as well. There's a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is open for anyone who has their ears open. We've got two open ears for a reason, because we can hear whatever that happens. But it's different to listening. Listening has to be taken by someone who's intentional about it. When someone is intentional about listening to what you're saying, then they are ready to receive. So effective communication will take two people, one who's ready to communicate and one who's ready to listen. Once the one communicates and the listener is ready, then the message is effective. But if you are going to just talk when the listener is not ready to listen, what you're going to do is just talk and the person will just be hearing, but nothing will be taken out of that. No action will be incited out of that. So this is to say, if you are going to speak, speak with intention. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve out of this talk? And what is the best way to communicate this message so that I can get the necessary reaction out of this? Once you got that figured out, also understand, who is this person that I'm talking to? And how would they understand me best for them to do what I require them to do? Once you got that figured out, then you can communicate effectively, because effective communication has to do with one, sending a message in a way that is clear to a receiver who's ready to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing can happen unless communication is effective. Everything we see today is because of people who were effective in their communication, whether through instructions that were taken and an action was taken after that. So if there's anything to take out of this talk, is to say, if you're going to speak, be an effective communicator. Mr. MC.
Oh, so thank you, Miracle. That was awesome. Yeah. And yeah, time was 6.5 minutes. So the time was actually brilliant. It was right where it should have been, which was absolutely great. And okay, I'll give you your feedback in a little bit. But I was really impressed with the way you presented the speech and with what you were talking about. But let me not say too much. And then I'll have nothing left in the evaluation. Yeah. So, Miracle, are you ready to evaluate Jean-Francois?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I sent you that form. You can use that document, or if you have another way to evaluate, you can do that as well. And it's just a general evaluation. So, you know, you don't have to pin him down to anything. And I think if you want to put things in the chat, details on how to contact you and so on and so forth, you're quite welcome to do that. Okay. And I see Welcade has joined us. So welcome, Welcade. Okay. And now, without further ado, yes, welcome, Welcade. It's so great for you to join us tonight. If you see somebody trying to join the meeting, I think you're all able to admit them. So, yeah, just admit them. I might be busy with something else because I'm more or less doing everything myself. Okay. Okay, so now we get on to Jean-Francois, and he's got a lovely speech called South African Medicinal and Psychoactive Plants. It's 5 to 7 minutes, and he's going to be evaluated by Miracle Chawana. And Miracle, if you look at there, you see TMP, the Miracle Perspective, and that's his talk show, which he has. Very good as well. You can look it up on YouTube. And I have heard Francois speak before, Jean-Francois, and he's absolutely passionate about his subject. And the book that he's written is a first in Africa, I believe. It's absolutely worthwhile. And I'd like you to put the name of the book and your contact numbers, if you don't mind, in the chat. And before we close the meeting, I'll just want to read out all the references so that we can make a permanent record of that, and hopefully people will contact you. And it's with great pleasure that I get to introduce Jean-Francois, such a passionate speaker, with the title South African Medicinal and Psychoactive Plants. And so without further ado, help me to welcome Jean-Francois, South African Medicinal and Psychoactive Plants.
Thank you. Thanks, Franz, for the introduction. Yeah, well, I'll launch right into it. I'm basically a medicinal plant researcher or ethnobotanist. One of the few ethnobotanists in South Africa who is focused on psychoactive plants. And I don't know if any of you know what psychoactive means. If there's anybody that wants to volunteer an answer of what is a psychoactive substance? Yes, Franz.
Yes, I know of cannabis, the most glorious psychoactive substance. Just a little bit, you feel so good. That's my understanding of it. Yes.
Okay. So psychoactive substances are any substance that affects how you think, feel, and act. So we drink and eat a lot of psychoactive substances every day, from rooibos tea, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and exerts a direct relaxing effect on your nervous system, to coffee, chocolate, stimulants, etc. So what my passion was, to start off with, just as an introduction, I was born with herbalists and in my family, and also chemists and teachers on my father's side. I had an early interest in herbal medicine that took me to studying medicine from Europe, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and South American shamanic plant medicine. I went around the world studying these medicines, and I became very interested in 1999 in those plants that affect consciousness. For example, ayahuasca from the Amazon. I don't know if you've seen posts on ayahuasca on the internet, or San Pedro, or magic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms. And in 1999, I asked the question, after exploring with some of these plant substances, I asked the question, are Sangomas using plants to aid their spiritual healing practices? Because in the movies, you often see the Sangomas burning plumes of smoke from Impepo. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Impepo, but Impepo is a relaxing incense. They've proven it at Johns Hopkins University, or actually that was frankincense. Van Staden in Pietermaritzburg proved that Impepo has anxiolytic effects, so it reduces anxiety. And this is important for the traditional healer to connect with their ancestors. You can't connect to God in church or to your ancestors when you're feeling stressed because you become closed. So these are technologies, these plants are technologies. When you burn incenses and you inhale the smoke, it has an effect to relax the system. So this whole journey into discovering or exploring what is psychoactive substances took me on a 23-year journey doing extensive field work and a literature review at Wits University. What I found was amazing. Over 300 species of plants from the old literature from the 1930s, from priests who wrote notes in KwaZulu-Natal on what they saw that the African people were using, and people from Lesotho, for example, um, which describes plants that were used for sedatives, stimulants, memory enhancers, used to treat convulsive conditions like epilepsy, mental illness, and also for visions, for Ispili, which is a category of medicine which is used for producing visions. So, what I did was I compiled that 300 species into this book. So, this is the book here, African Psychoactive Plants, Journeys in Phytoalchemy. It is, I published it in 2023, and this book is now going around the world to neuroscientists in America, where they want to investigate the chemistry of these plants, because a lot of these plants haven't been studied culturally or scientifically or chemically yet. So it's a wealth of information. It's a gold mine. Some people call this South Africa's psychedelic Bible at the moment from the University of Pretoria. And traditional healers are calling it the Bible that they're using. So if anybody wants to get a copy of this book, I'm actually couriering and selling the book personally to my networks. So you can contact me on 063 537 5413, and I courier the book signed to you. Other than that, healing plants and foods are my focus. I do holistic nutritional health consultations and mentoring on South African medicinal plants. Uh, and medicinal plant walks is also my specialty. I take people on walks in Klipproversberg Nature Reserve in the south of Johannesburg, and I teach people how to food forage and to look for medicinal plants which they can use to boost their health. Yeah, I am happy with that. I think I'll stop there. And yeah, if there's any questions, feel free to ask.
Uh, yeah, Jean Frank. Uh, your first name will be Jean Frank, is right?
Jean-Francois.
Oh,
Jean-Francois.
yeah. My first name is Jani Patel. I just wanted to clarify, like, you are selling a book or it's about medicines or something?
Yes, a book on medicinal plants from South Africa and psychoactive plants specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
thank you.
And if I may ask, how much is the book?
It is 560 with courier fees included. So the book is 499 and the courier cost is 60 Rand for the courier. It
And
makes an awesome gift. It's a very nice gift for people. So I've been selling books. I've sold probably about 400 books personally it's also on Amazon. So books are being sold on Amazon for overseas markets. And then personally through my networks, I've sold about, I don't know, probably 400, 450 books since it was being published.
that's great. I want to understand how much of the traditional med medicinal application did you get from the Sangomas as you were compiling this book and getting more about this medicinal plants?
How much of the?
How much of the traditional understanding of the medicines did you
Yes.
get from Sangomas
Yes, yes.
as you
I
were
didn't tell you
embarking
a
on?
very, yes, thank you. Thanks, Miracle. I didn't tell you an important piece of information is that I actually met a traditional healer who initially was an informant, if you can call it, in ethnography, they call it informants. It's a terrible word, but she became like a second mom to me. I apprenticed to her and I knew her for 13 years. She passed in 2013. But I actually did an initiation with her as an Inyanga. So she took me through the sequence of plants where I stayed in a little place close to her practice in Jeppystown, and I went through the medicines that she taught me. So I had first-hand experience of the plants, and I understand very well that they work similarly to the South American use of plants, which is very interesting. They both use the plants in the same way to cleanse you, then open your mind with ubulao. Here in South Africa, we call it ubulao. Then to strengthen you and relax you, and then to protect you. And both traditions use the same sequence of plants, which is fascinating. It's like a technology of using plants. And yeah, I
Interesting.
even heard that there's members of the ZCC that use a particular orchid to uplift the spirit in their practices. So you don't hear about this. It's actually a bit of a secret. Well, I wouldn't say it's a secret. A game warden told me this, but it's no surprise that they use a lot of plants to kind of boost the spirit. And so it's a fascinating topic.
Hmm. Interesting indeed. If I may follow up, I just wanted to check how much of, all right, with the plants themselves, would you say they open one more to the spiritual world, or is it more the spiritual being applied on the plants themselves? I wanted to understand what I'm trying to get is the, since you understand more about the Inyangas, how they operate, the traditional healers,
Yes,
with how they connect with the ancestors' spirituality, and you
yeah,
also have the scientific understanding of the plants themselves.
yes,
So
exactly.
what I want to understand is how much of the application of these medicines is spiritually linked than the actual medicine actually doing its job without the spiritual application, if I'm making sense.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, Michael. So the plants work on multiple levels. One plant can have, one plant can have physical uses, but then on another level, it can be used spiritually. So the that's what I like about the African worldview. It's very holistic. They don't dichotomize the mind and spirit as separate. One plant can have an effect on the mind and on the spirit at the same time. My teacher taught me that it's intent. Your intent is very important. So, um, but it's a deep question because the question is also is do the plants have spirits like they believe in the Amazon, where the plant actually has a spirit which teaches you, or is it your ancestors that are directing you to the plants? And I think both applies. From what I understand, certain plants do have a powerful spirit which can teach you when you consume it. It opens you up to who you are. So it's like a vehicle, it's like a medium to the spirit world. But then you also have your ancestors who stop you and alert you to a plant that's nearby you that you should use, if that makes sense. So you get both the ancestors directing you, and you also have plant spirits which can grab you at the same time.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you for engaging. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jean-Francois. That was certainly an excellent speech, and I think we're all fascinated with that. And many thanks for that speech, and it certainly opened our minds to think about these things. And with that, we've come to the jesters part of it again. But is there anybody who would like to try a joke, or should I just go ahead and present another little joke? Yeah.
You're killing this. Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, this is sort of more on a serious note, you know. So I was at the University of Pretoria, and I walked into the library there. So I asked the librarian if there were any books on how to overcome the fear of public speaking. She whispered, "They're in the self-help section, but you might have to speak up a bit to find them."
Yeah, Frans.
Okay, so I think it's 20 past. Yeah, I think we have time for that. So I'd like to do an impromptu speech section now. And do any of you want to feel strongly that you'd like to run the impromptu session, or should I just go ahead and do it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, we're all going to get a chance to speak, but remember that we're talking about business networking and public speaking and how the two actually come together and they're actually one. When you speak, you're actually promoting your business. And if you look at the two speeches tonight, it's very true. It's so true. So I want you to imagine that we're in a marketplace and there's all these little stalls there, and each one of you are at a separate little stall. And imagine me as the impromptu master. I'm just sort of walking through the marketplace and I'm looking at the little stalls. And when I get to you, in 1 to 2 minutes, you can just explain to me what are you selling and how it can benefit me or somebody else, and why I should specifically buy whatever you're selling rather than buy something from somebody else. Would that be okay? And so I'm walking through this beautiful place, and the stalls are so absolutely wonderful. And I get to this one stall, and it's with the African colors, and but it's not actually an African guy sitting there. It's actually Jean-Francois sitting there, and I just stop there, and I say to Jean-Francois, please explain this to me. 1 to 2 minutes, yeah.
I actually missed like the point of I'm supposed to explain. Am I supposed to explain what I'm selling?
Yes, I'm walking through a marketplace and you're sitting at a stall, and
Yeah.
I get to your stall and I just ask you, please explain to me what you're selling and how it can benefit me.
Oh, well, okay, so I should respond now.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I can only go on what I know, which is what I've got, which is my book. But I'm selling my book on African psychoactive plants, as I explained what it's about. But how it benefits you is there's a chapter in the book where all the plants that I used along the way, being like a practicing Inyanga traditional doctor, traditional herbalist, I put in the book, I put in the chapter of how you can use these plants for incenses, to sharpen your memory, to increase your focus. There's an incredible plant called Acarus calamus or Calamusi. And if you grind it into a powder and you snuff it, it makes you have laser focus. Very good for public speaking. It would be very, very good um, miracle for public speaking. And it kind of like puts you in the zone, like a very, very focused zone. So these plants are not just for, for curiosity, but the book is also a guide to how we can use these plants, some of these plants, to increase our cognitive abilities. Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you very much, John. That was nicely done. As I work through the marketplace, I see there's a table there, and the label. There's a banner on this table, and it says the Miracle Perspective. And I'm thinking to myself, what is that all about? So Miracle, can you tell us what the Miracle Perspective is all about?
Thank you, Franz. Contrary to popular belief, my name is Miracle, and when you hear the Miracle Perspective, you are thinking my perspective. So it's just closely related to the truth, but it's not what it is. So it's a word play. Miracle is something that is extraordinary, something you won't expect, something that is outside of what is usual. And a perspective is how you view the world. So I used the Miracle Perspective as a way to define a perspective that is different, a perspective that is extraordinary to anything that you're dealing with in life. Same, for example, with how I do my coaching, my public speaking coaching. Most people focus on hand gestures, vocal variety, how to project your voice, how to act. Basically, public speaking coaching in most instances focuses on the outward appearance. But with my coaching infused with the Miracle Perspective, we deal with you as a person, because I believe that self-mastery is the best way to understand and to become the best speaker. So I help you navigate through yourself, get to understand who you are, get to overcome the obstacles that are holding you and giving you the fear and anxiety of becoming a good speaker. Once we have moved that out of the way, then the speaker that you're supposed to be or that you are meant to be automatically comes out. And that is the Miracle Perspective applied in public speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miracle. No, that was really enlightening. Yes, and I continue walking through this marketplace, and there's some most beautiful stalls and tables. And I come to this one table, and Janique Patel, okay, hopefully that's how you pronounce your name, is sitting there, and I say to Janique, please tell me, what are you selling? What are you doing at this stall?
Yeah,
And
actually, uh, currently, we have started an initiative in which we are as you know, I'm basically from India, and India has a large number of marketplace in which most of the business owners and startup founders don't have a simple basic website or a digital presence for selling their products online, basically. So to solve their problems, and also if they want to make their website, if they want to make a digital presence like social media, they have to hire some digital marketing agency for that work. And their charges and their work they are giving, the value they are providing to that business owner or startup founder are very critical for them to handle those things. So solving those problems for any business owner or a startup, we have came with an idea in which we have started a company. It's That's name will be a Wellcade. Wellcade is a community of web developers and students who are contributing to multiple projects and like a website and social media management. And in this idea, we are uh, hiring most of the college students who are pursuing any academics or any graduation in the current time. And what they want, they want to learn some experience. They want to gain some experience in corporate level. They have to learn something new skills. So on that basis of that idea, we are hiring those students, and we are giving them opportunities like you can work in our community. Like you will get some real world projects to work on, and also you will gain some experience in it. And after the completion of 3 months of internship, you will get a experience letter from us and a completion certificate, which will prove that you have worked in our company and you have gained some experience, which will help them to develop their career in the next years. And throughout this, we are building this community, and also we are providing some value to the business owners and the startup founders. Mainly, they are getting problems regarding like if they don't have a website, so we can build their website for them. And if they don't have any social media or a business profile, then we can also handle those from our side. Secondly, by making those things from us, they will get a proper corporate level structure. They will also get the proper maintenance, and they will also get a professional support for their business to promote their products or services on a digital era. And here we are managing those things by students and our interns who are working with us. And like in this initiative, like have you heard most of the agencies and most of the different companies like hiring professionals for their work. And in this kind of companies like who are serving different digital services or website development, what they do normally, they hire professionals. And when they don't get any projects, when they don't get any clients, they instantly remove that professionals, and they fire them professionals. Like this hiring and firing process is the continuous one thing for the multiple agencies at right now. But uh, because I have also worked in an freelancing agency in my last years, so I got to know about this problem. And to solving this problem, I came with this idea that building a community of developers and students who can serve these services to the business and startup founders with us. They can gain their experience and completion certificate and experience letter, which will help them for their career development. And secondly, the customers or the clients whom we are serving right now, they will get the professional support, plus they will get a lifelong maintenance for their business to promote their services in a digital era. And this is how we are working right now. And for that also, we are trying to collaborate with some colleges in our locality. And also we are hiring from different platforms like Internshala, LinkedIn, and other platforms. So we can grow this community as larger as we can. So we can make a big impact in this industry of IT industry, in which we can serve different services to the business owners. And also we can solve the problems for the students who are not getting any opportunities and learning opportunities for them, and for the business owners who are not getting any proper agency who can work for their business to promote themselves in a digital era right now.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Janika. Okay, actually, you've actually given a full speech now. That you can say that was a 5 to 7 minute speech, but it was impromptu. So congratulations. So you've shown us that you can speak. So next time you might as well just do a speech. Eh? So I think it's my turn to sort of give a little presentation now. So I've got a little business that I'm running. Okay, now let me just see how I can do this. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to share something on the screen there. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you see my screen there? Okay, so I'm running a little business called AltMed Supplements. Okay, and we're going to start promoting this rather heavily. We've got a whole lot of products, about 30 products, which are, the guy's name is this traditional Dr. Mark Driver. He's a traditional doctor and he's a scientist, and he's come up with the most amazing products, which are absolutely beautiful and they work like you can't believe. Food supplements, because that's legally, that's what they have to be. And so we're selling this, they dirt cheap, they very affordable, and you can make like a reasonable profit out of just selling it. And that's what I'm doing. We're starting to promote AltMed supplements. Okay, it's only in South Africa at this point in time. So if you want to make some extra money, a few extra R1,000 a month, then speak to me and you can sign up with AltMed supplements. It's free to sign up. It costs you nothing. And you get a nice resale kickback. And yeah, make some extra money. Why not? Eh? Okay, so basically that's what I'm doing. And yeah, so I think all of you have given a really nice impromptu speeches. And Janique actually gave impromptu off the cuff a full speech. I was really impressed with that. And now for the feedback, okay. So as far as the timing went, okay, the elevator speeches were all nicely within time, between 1 and 2 minutes. Okay, so that was all very nice. I think Miracle may have gone a few seconds over, but it's really great, well in time. Miracle's speech was 6.5 minutes, and Jean-Francois' speech was also very close to 7 minutes. And then the question and answers, we sort of went a little bit over, but that was okay because we were ahead of time in any case. So I think that was okay. And when we got to the impromptu speeches, we were all very close to 2 minutes, except Janique just demonstrated to us that he's ready to give a full speech. Okay, he went about 5 minutes instead of 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, but this is how we learn. You got to do things and learn from them, and so it's really great job. And then we get to the speaker feedback. Okay, so the first speaker was Miracle Chawani, and I actually did the evaluation for that. So I'm just going to pull my evaluation up. Okay. Okay, let me just get the right document here. Okay. Okay. So I was actually very impressed with Miracle. Like his clarity of the spoken language, the clarity was great. The vocal variety was great. A good eye contact. If we could see through the cameras, he would have been looking in our eyes. Effective use of hand gestures, body language. He was aware of the audience. He was very comfortable and very relaxed. And the speech he gave was very interesting. It was really very, very good. And what I liked about Miracle's speech is I really loved the storytelling part about it. The way the speaker wove the stories into his speech, and he brought the personal focus into the story, his sister, his family, and he looked at a communication shortcoming that he had discovered in himself. And when he pointed that out, we were all able to learn. So we can all take that lesson about just speaking or just talking at somebody, but really communicating. And that is a very big difference. Okay. So if we had to look at Miracle, what you can work on, then looking at your virtual background, and I saw at times when your hands moved fairly quickly, your hands disappeared into the background. You just had the arms there and the rest disappeared. Okay. So it's not really a vocal thing, this, but maybe we can work on, having like, more better lighting and be in front of a background, a real background instead of a virtual background. There are different ways to improve the virtual background as well. I think you could perhaps have a look at that. But what I liked about Miracle's speech is I just loved the way that Miracle brought the lesson across about how to speak. And I'm sure we all learned from that. And it doesn't only have to make sense to you, the speaker, but it must be a message that the other person can receive. And the big difference between speaking, talking, and communicating, and we are supposed to be communicators. And Miracle brought this point so beautifully across. Clear words, good vocabulary, and to step out of your comfort zone, Miracle, I could maybe recommend combining some use of some sort of presentation into your speech, um, maybe a little bit of PowerPoint or something like that. I'm not saying it will improve it, but you could maybe experiment with that. And okay, so that's my feedback. Okay. Are you okay with that feedback, Miracle?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Franz. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Well, hopefully I didn't say anything that upset you there, but it's just sort of a trying to, fair feedback. Yeah. Overall,
No,
excellent
you
speech.
didn't say anything upsetting. It was good. Thank you very much.
Okay, that is great. Yes. And then Miracle evaluated Jean-Francois' speech. And so, Miracle, would you like to go ahead and give your evaluation?
Cool. Thank you very much, Franz, for the opportunity once again. And I'm gonna go ahead and give feedback and evaluation on Jean's speech. I was actually very scared when I saw the title at first. I was like, what are we gonna hear? And I was scared, particularly because I was the evaluator of the speech. I thought I wasn't gonna understand a thing. How am I gonna evaluate this? But Jean, the way you presented the topic, you presented it with so much skill, so much applications of good speaking techniques that made even the layman who doesn't understand anything about plants understand what you were talking about. So you were able to take something which is so subject specific and you brought it to life to a layman like myself who understands nothing about plants and medicinal plants. But you made it even more interesting. And that's the power of speaking greatly, because you make something that only matters to you also become interesting to someone who didn't even care about it. So I was bought into your presentation because of the way you made it seem. You made it seem like it's something very easy. It's just a plant. And now I know something about plants. So it made me feel like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. So great delivery of the speech itself. And also you were very clear in how you were presenting, very audible. And that's what made it even easier to listen to. And I saw at some point, you actually looked right into the camera, which made us feel connected with you. As you were speaking, we felt like you're giving us the eye contact. And that is very important, more especially here on the digital platform, where it's very difficult to get the attention of the person on the other side. But if you look directly into the camera, then it makes us feel like we're connected with you. So that was great application of this tool of presenting online. And you did very good in actually breaking down the components of your speech. What I like the most about your speech is that you engage the audience from the word go. You asked if anyone knows anything about psychoactive plants. And that made us feel like we are part of your speech. And one of us, Franz, actually took a chance with your speech. So that's actually a good application of speaking that you can engage your audience with by a question or by giving them something that they can think about. But you did it so well, and you made us feel comfortable, and you made us ready to receive what you're bringing on the table. So that was great delivery. What I think you can perhaps work a little bit more on to improve your delivery is maybe just incorporate the use of gestures. Because now I understand you are sitting on a desk and it's very difficult to just give expressions. But I believe that in a normal setting where you are speaking in front of people, then the use of gestures would just make your speech come to life. And also incorporating a little bit of vocal variety. It's just that your speech doesn't require much drama. because it's like scientific stuff. So you don't have to include a lot of vocal variety, but a little bit of expressions that need to be taken note of, and where you can increase your voice projection, minimize here and there. It could make a difference. Just put some coloring in your speech. But other than that, that was a great speech, great, well delivered. Something difficult, you made it easy to understand, and at least we have something to take home. So great,
Okay.
and keep up the great work with your speech. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks, Miracle.
You're welcome.
So John, are you okay with that?
Yes, no,
With
that's
that
very
feedback?
very useful information. Thanks, Miracle.
Okay.
You're welcome.
No,
You're
that's
welcome.
great. Yes. And now you got all the way back to sort of the peculiar thing again. So I'm taking the place of the jester again. Yeah. So I knew this guy. He was like a really great public speaker, and you know, when he went to a speaking club, you know, he always wore a three-piece black suit and, you know, a red tie with the diagonal stripes on it, typically in black. Or sometimes he wore a different colored tie with red stripes, you know, going down the tie at an angle like it. And the hair very short and neat. And I always thought, I mean, this guy was so good, you know, his vocal variety, the way he spoke was absolutely brilliant. But then I heard that he became a gardener. You know, why would you be a public speaker and suddenly you become a gardener? So I asked him, why did you become a gardener? And, you know, maybe it's good to be a gardener. There's nothing wrong with it. But I just was trying to understand why he became a gardener. And he said to me, you know, as a public speaker, he was able to plant ideas and watch them grow. And so it just made sense to become a gardener.
Lame.
So, okay. So next time, maybe some of you can have some jokes. It might be a little bit better than my sort of peculiar jokes. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to talk to you about joining and the advantages of joining. Okay, so what I can do is I'll send you all the sign up form afterwards, and like I'm not forcing you to join, but if you want to join, you can join. Okay, so it's 2,500 rand for 12 months to join, and what you get for that is you get business networking and public speaking. Typically, you have to join a business networking club like BNI or something like that, and you've got to join a public speaking club. And there's a few of them around, but this is all in one club. And so we meet every week. So it's almost like belonging to two clubs. But you know, 1 week is business networking, 1 week is public speaking. But then also your assignments are on public speaking. We have 44 assignments which end in a speech on leadership. And then there's on business networking the same, and social media. So there's 4. Then you get associate, licentiate, and fellowship qualifications. So that is the great thing. And when you have completed your fellowship, you actually can apply for a job in region as a paid professional leader. So you can actually earn an income eventually, earn a living if you like. Yeah. So that is one of the good reasons to join. Okay. Yeah, and the benefits are astronomical. As soon as you join, we can record your speeches and that, and you know, it will all count towards your qualifications, etc. Okay. Any questions about joining? Okay. Okay, I thought I'd just throw that out. You can just think about that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to hand over to the area director. Okay, so I'm also the area director. So you've got to join and form some of the roles. I mean, there's 11 leadership roles in this chapter. So, and we've only got one so far. So, okay. So the area director on a point. Okay, as the area director, I would just like to say that the quality of the speeches were absolutely awesome. I really enjoyed them, both Miracle, Jean-Francois, and even Janique Patel's impromptu speech. It was outstanding. You know, like all of us are really good speakers. I should really say all of you guys are really good speakers, and I'm really impressed. And as the area director, I would just like to say, and thank you for coming together. Thank you for your great attitude and for having the right energy. And that has been absolutely awesome. And with that, I'm going to hand back to the Master of Ceremonies. Okay. And as a Master of Ceremonies, I'm just going to tell you about upcoming events. So on the 29th of April, it's also a Wednesday night, online, 7:30. It's a business networking. Okay, tonight's public speaking, it's business networking. 6th of May is public speaking. 9th of May is a Saturday, and it's a monthly in-person meeting. You're going to have to pay 120 Rand for the venue and for a nice breakfast afterwards. We're going to meet at Oppi Stoep in Centurion, and 10 o'clock in the morning. 90 minutes, that's how long it takes to go to the meeting, and then a nice breakfast, a nice networking opportunity. You know, the business networking, you know, once you get into it, you close a lot of business deals at the actual meeting. So if you're selling books, you know, bring a couple of books with you and have a whole pile in your boot, because you might sell some books, you know. And if you've got another business, you sign business deals, you know, right there at the meeting. Okay. So that's important. And then, of course, on the 13th of May is another business networking meeting, also online. So that's our upcoming events. And yeah, having spoke about that, I just want to speak to you a little bit about next week's meeting is business networking. So public speaking, we'd like to have 3 to 5 speeches, typically 5 to 7 minutes. But at the business networking speech, we don't have an impromptu, but we have the elevator speeches, but we have 2 business presentations, 12 to 15 minutes. So you get 12 to 15 minutes to promote your business or your book or whatever you do, your philosophy, your political agenda or your spiritual agenda, or whatever you do. So, and so if you would like to take that one of those slots next week, you can just let me know, and we can go for it. Okay. And you know, our business networking works basically in a nutshell. You've got 30 people who join. Everybody's got about 150 people on average that they have influence over. And so if you take 30 times 150, that gets to 4,500 people. So once you've presented the business or the book or the whatever it is that you do, the service or product, to the other people, you actually have a potential base of 4,500 people that could be referred to you for business. So it's really worthwhile. Okay. Okay. So that is on a point. Okay. And okay. And I see we are 8 minutes ahead of schedule, which means that I'm going to throw it open to the floor. Anything you would like to, on a point, say positive or negative, anything at all, now's your chance. Okay. Anybody?
Well, I can say thank you for the meeting. It was great, and it was great to meet the gentlemen that are here. And thank you very much for the session. It was good, and I appreciate everything that happened. Thank you very much.
Okay, no, it's a big pleasure. Yes. Would you like to say something, John?
Yes, likewise. It was great to meet, connect, and share, and to know about what our fellow humans are doing, you know. So good work, Miracle, and all the best with your initiatives, and as well as Janique. And yeah, thank you for the meeting.
Okay, no, that's awesome. Yes. Janique, would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to share our initiatives and ideas. And it was my pleasure to be here and sharing those ideas. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, and hopefully next time we'll have closer to 30 people instead of 4 people. But yeah, I do a lot of work in the background to try and get there. So we just see what happens, and if there's nothing else that any else of you would like to say, then I can close the meeting. Anything else? Going once, twice, thrice. And without further ado, I hereby officially close the meeting.